Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a good weekend. So today I thought we'd go back to PSU for a bit because there's a new event on apparently on Clementine, so I thought we'd give that a check out while it's still on. But yeah, hope you're having a good weekend. So I need to actually find where this event actually is. I think it's in the right cross lobby or something inside. Power Supply Universe, we drive on. Good to see you, Kilniath. Yeah, so this would be the right cross lobby then. Hey, Jack. Yeah, so the streams, it's normally like quarter to the hour on midweek and then a half past on the weekend. It's just because I can start a bit earlier on a weekend. Yeah, it's doing pretty good, yeah. Not too bad at all, really. So just all getting started. There should be a video going live on some point tomorrow for members. There'll also be a PSO video going live for everyone else as well. I will warn people who aren't members, the PSO video that goes live tomorrow is extremely long. I apologise in advance. It's not my fault, it's the quest I've done is incredibly long. So yeah, enjoy that. I mean, if you like long videos, you like it, but... Yeah, apparently I did also get an Uber Rare on Phantasy Star Zero. So we played a bit on the Discord event yesterday. We do a Discord event every Saturdays for anyone who doesn't know. And yeah, I just randomly found an Uber Rare apparently, so... So that's all my luck in PSO gone. The worst thing is, I can't even really use it because it was an armor drop. It dropped with no slots, and there's no way of adding slots in Zero. So it's kinda useless. Why they thought having random slots on armor in Zero and not being able to add slots in anywhere was a good thing is beyond me. I mean, yeah, it does facilitate the grind for sure, but apparently the armor I got is about 1 in 7,000. So 1 in 7,000 and then it drops with no slots. Yeah, I did notice that drag there. I think it's like a 1 in 5 drop from like Heaven's Mother in Tower. If you want to do the entirety of Tower over and over again. I suppose what you would do is you would just get to floor 101, make a save state and just rerun Heaven's Mother over and over again until you get it. Yeah. I don't blame you at all for using save states in Zero. Yeah, I did do a bit of PSO earlier. Because it is rare enemy week, so I thought I'd try and find a Lavis in PSO as well. Actually managed to find a red slime, actually, which I was surprised at, because they normally don't show up in rare monster week. But drop nothing, you know. Says Tower, I mean, it's Tower in basically every game, isn't it? It doesn't matter what Phantasy Star we're playing, we're always in Tower to some degree. Hey, Pika. Imagine you get 5 Haze daggers with max element and nice attributes, but no Photon art. There's just too many elements to the RNG, I think. I get they were wanting you to kind of keep playing and keep trying to find things, but it must be really depressing, honestly, to get something really, really rare and then it not have a Photon art or be a really bad element or something. So from what I understand, the event today is its maximum attack. I think it's maximum attack Y, and I think it is actually Y, and I think the reason it's maximum attack Y is because MAY is the abbreviation, so it's in there. Yeah, I do like in Zero that they made some of the items fixed elements in Photon arts, like the Psycho Wand. But I don't know, I just feel that even if it was only like, say, 7-star armors, you know, if it was 7-star armors that dropped with, you know, 4 slots, that'd be a big improvement, I think. Why are they always called maximum attack? Is there a limit? It's always maximum attack in PSO. The maximum is whatever we can handle. So we've got Drac, and I know I saw Pika here as well, so we've got at least 3. But yeah, I have no idea what this event's like, by the way. On the YouTube side as well, I have turned off monetization for this stream because I have no idea what music they're going to play in this event. I even tried to eat the Drac, okay. I will say it does look remarkably quiet here. How many people are actually on? There's 93 people on, apparently. You invite getting a drink. Yeah, no worries. Check gas while I'm out. So if you can do it for me, I think I have to go back, unfortunately. We are doing PSU today, Zion, yeah. Yeah, there's a new event on Clementine, so I thought we'd check it out. And then next week, the plan is on Wednesday, we'll be doing Phantasy Star 3. And on Sunday, we are going to do Phantasy Star 0, but we're going to do the multiplayer tower mod. So there is a mod that's been released recently that allows you to run the Eternal Tower in multiplayer. So we're going to do that, and we're going to try and see how high up tower we can get in a 3-hour stream. It is very cool, yeah. So, I mean, obviously, Tower is like a huge challenge in Zero because it's solo only. It's like 101 floors. It literally takes hours. And you can't just do a bit of it and then come back to it. You have to do the whole thing. You can go back to town, I think, every 10 floors to stock up, but you can't kind of quit out the quest and then pick it back up again later. You have to just do it all. Yeah, I think there's no gas in the event area that I can see anywhere, unless there's an NPC I missed. So we have 50 AP. Yeah, I have no idea why the wedding event music is on. I know they used to make a wedding event on PSO2 Japan as well, but I can't remember what time of year it used to be. Maybe it was about this time of year. Yeah, I've actually leveled up quite a lot of stuff already. I'll invite you to the party in a minute, Pika, as well. I'll be back in the lobby in a second, so then we can do some runs. I like how the text in the bottom box just completely bleeds over, so you can't even read it properly. That could be a resolution thing, I'm not sure, but... Right, what do I use a lot? I do use dagger quite a lot. Okay, I can't level that up anymore. How do you increase your mag inventory? So there is an item called a nanotransfer that you feed to your mag. You can get it from, there's one of the shops on the Guardian's Colony sells it, but there's also, if you've got the shop in your room, there is like an NPC that acts as a shop in there, and they sell them as well. They are about 250,000 Mazetta each, but I think they add 50 slots to your Platinum Chain. You just keep buying those, and they just keep progressively adding slots for you. I'm assuming there is a maximum amount that you can have, but I think out to about 500 slots so far. Yeah, that would be really nice for PSO. That is one of the few issues with Affinia, is that you've got what? Is it 200 spaces, I think, on your character in the bank? And then 200 for like shared bank. So you just end up making tons and tons of storage characters to store your extra stuff. I suppose the advantage on Affinia is at least on Affinia you can make like 32 characters, so you can make plenty of bank characters. The issue is remembering where all your stuff is. PSP game says here's 2,000 slots. Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? I think on the portable games you have a huge storage. it is very weird. Oh, that's the gas counter. Okay. Well, now we know. I did think it was odd that there was no gas counter in the lobby. Do you think Affinia would ever make Mazetta auto pickup? That would be so cool. It would be really nice. I mean, I can't think of a reason you would ever not pick money up. Yeah, I genuinely can't think of a reason why you would not pick money up in on PSO. So is this where the event is? Or is it the other door? Okay, so there are 3 quests. One of them is a duo quest. Share with me, I run out of Mazetta because of charge. So we have Crisis in the Void and Eternal Abyss. Yeah, I mean, the Endless quest, I guess you could go into it with no money, so that you never accidentally trigger the don't drop Mazetta thing, but so I think from what I read, I think one of these is kind of like a time attack quest. I don't know if it's as bad as the Affinia PSR ones that they added recently. I guess if it's out of Crisis in the Void, see what it's like. Are we up for doing Ultimate? I'm happy doing S4 if people want to, or we can do Ultimate, whichever. If we fail, it's fine. Yeah, we die like men. Well, that was a very sudden bit of music that just ended immediately. I'm going to assume this is for music. Okay, what can we have for BGM? Oh, I mean, Trick Track is there. It is right there. What did you want? Train? Which one is Train? It's crazy how much more Japanese PSU got than we did in the West. Yeah, there was a lot more added to it. There was some things that were added that were much worse, but yeah. All right, well, we are going to start with that then, because of course we are. Oh, that's what you mean by train, okay. How is the story in PSU divided? I remember seeing it at an expansion at some point. So, from what I remember, episode 1 is like the offline mode of PSU, sorry. So that's where you play as Ethan. Then episode 2 and 3, I think were linked to the expansion. I can't remember if 2 was through the base game or 2 was through the expansion. 3 is definitely the expansion. 3 was online only. I can't remember if 2 was online or offline or if it was both. It's been a long time since I played the story, unfortunately. I'm sure someone in chat will know. 2 is Ambition of the Illuminist, which can be played offline on the PS2. That's probably what throws me, because obviously I played the PC. So I think I played up 2 online, but I could be wrong. Okay, so most things here are darker. Yeah, Ep 1 and 2 you can play fine. Episode 3, I mentioned it before, but episode 3 is mostly lost media. Because it was only ever online. When the servers went down for, for the actual servers, we basically lost episode 3. So for episode 3, if you want to see it, you more or less have to just go and watch YouTube. Which does suck, but obviously it wasn't really a factor back then. Yeah, we got Trick Track. The really funny thing is, the more I hear Trick Track, though, the more I prefer the one that's in the original Phantasy Star. I do like the PSO version. I always will do. But I think I do prefer the one in the original game. Yeah, so the story, Sion, it's kind of weird. So the beginning part of story is single player, offline only. Because episode 1 in story is where you have to play as Ethan. And then Ep 2 and Ep 3 is when you actually play your own character. It was very weird the way they did it. Even here, I can't get a Heaven Striker. I think I just got man as like a random drop. Either that or Drak gave me, I can't remember which. I know I definitely found a Heaven Punisher on this. It's kind of funny. I seem to have like everything I want in PSO, apart from SGS, I seem to have on PSU. I've been trying to get a last one on PSO. Been running Black Paper's Deal quite a lot to try and get one, and it will not give me one. But I have one on PSU. It's crazy seeing this game not capped to 30 FPS. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, obviously it's massively upscaled as well. Which, cause I know people mention this every time I play PSU, but I know the UI looks tiny to you, but on my screen I can see it fine. The issue is that if I downscale the UI, it'll look really blurry. Yakuza had executed it after the base game, didn't really have lore too. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like I said, the first episode you play as Ethan, and you get like the story of Ethan. And then for F2 and F3, you play as your own character, and it kind of chronicles the events of what happens after. And for these games that are set in the Graal system as well, there is a lot more to them, because obviously you've got all the portable games as well. So Portable 2, Portable 2 Infinity, they're all based in the same system as well, so they're kind of linked to this. Wasn't the story still single player? Yeah, so even though parts of it were online, they were still single player. So you couldn't do like multiplayer story mode. And yeah, the base game had a mode where you could make your own character. That was essentially like a very cut down version of online. I think it was called Extra Mode, I think. Where you could make your own character, and there was a few things you could hunt for rares, but it was very scaled down. I think the intent with PSU was that they kind of expected you to play online. Yeah, story PSU wasn't too bad. I mean, I don't think it's my favourite Phantasy Star story by any means, but it was alright. That's my ship, Skyship. It is, yeah, it's my ship. So, let's go 1. Why not? Was this on the PSP? I think I've played this before. So, there is Phantasy Star Portable. Phantasy Star Portable is basically this game. It is cut down a little bit, but it is actually remarkable how much they got in the game on PSP. But yeah, it's essentially like a PSP version of this game. It does have its own story though. Yeah, to all intents and purposes, Phantasy Star Portable will play almost the same as this. Portable 2 and Infinity do differ a little bit with the way they play, but Portable 1 is very much just Portable PSU. So I guess the gist with this quest is that everything is Dark Element. I love how the abbreviated title becomes PSP for Phantasy Star Portable. Yeah, so yeah, PSP was on the PSP. And PSP 2 was on the PSP 2. I mean, I've got to imagine that is, not unintended. It cannot be a coincidence that it happens to be PSP as an abbreviation. I bet it's harder to look up for people who don't know. But yeah, if you played the PSP game, it was very, very similar to this. I miss when games had the console name. Yeah, just in case you weren't sure what console you were playing on. Didn't the PSP game have its own lore as well? It did. Yeah, so it had its own story. It kind of revolved around a character called Vivienne. And then PSP 2 had its own story with Amelia. And then PSP 2 Infinity revolved around Nagisa. I would not blame you if you haven't heard of Infinity though, because it was Japan only, so... Yeah, if you've not tried the PSP game before, I think you said you played it, but for anyone who hasn't tried the portable games, they are well worth it. Like, I'd probably recommend all of them, honestly. I think PSP 1 is probably the weakest of the three, but they're all really decent. Honestly, the story in PSP 1's pretty good as well. I remember when people went crazy for a translation patch, I guess it was Infinity. Yeah, that'll be for Infinity. I mean, I played Infinity without translation patch because I wasn't too fussed about the story, I just wanted to play the game. I knew a bit of like basic Japanese anyway, so I could sort of get by with the menus. Yeah, game is fantastic. I should probably play it through at some point with the translation patch so I can actually see what the story's like, because a lot of it did go over my head. I could sort of work things out. There was some bits I could understand, but let's just do one again, yeah. So this is another one of these quests where multiple routes. Anyone else miss boomers? We all miss boomers. Yeah, boomers are in this though. They look very cursed, but they are in this. Yeah, they're also in Zero as well. I didn't even realise that until recently, but when we played Zero a bit off stream yesterday, we ran into some boomer origins, which are like little tiny boomers. I swear these Garand's rejects are a nightmare. All these boomers like you. Yeah, they're rare enemies in Phantasy Star Zero. It was the first time I'd run into them yesterday. They look really weird though. They kind of look like guinea pigs. They're very different from the PSO boomers. The ones in this, I guess, are based more on the PSO boomers, but they still look very weird. So it is nice that everything in this is Dark Element, because it means I never have to switch armor. Oh, they do so much damage. I like how one of the most dangerous enemies in this game is basically the PSU equivalent of a Garand's, which was one of the most dangerous enemies in PSO. Did they reuse the soundtrack from PSO, or was it really in the OG PSU? I can't remember if they used it in anything in PSU. I mean, this is like a custom event on this private server. They may have used... They might have used Trick Track for some quests. I can't remember if they used it for Bruce's Dungeon, actually. Possibly. Which was a quest on the official server. It's been a long time since they've done that, though, so I could be wrong. But yeah, this is like a custom quest anyway. I'm playing with friends or CPU. This is with friends. Yeah, so this server is called Clementine. It's pretty much, as far as I'm aware, I think it's the only PSU private server. But yeah, if you just search for PSU Clementine, there's like full instructions to set it up and everything. He just shot me when I was behind him. You identify as a partner machine. I like how they're trying to convince chat now that they're not actually players and they're actually CPUs. Yeah, you probably know Big Smoke, but there's private servers for for most of the old Phantasy Star games now. So, you know, PSO has a few private servers. And PSU is the same as well. You know, PSU, again, I think this is the only one, to my knowledge. There may be others. If anyone does know of any others, feel free to let me know. But this is the only one I'm aware of. I think a lot of that is just because PSU was never quite as popular as PSO was. So there's maybe less demand for a private server, but it still gets enough players on it. So I've decided I don't like this route because these guys are on it. Yeah, again, I know I say this every single time I play PSU, but again, if you're wanting sort of a very faithful experience to the Sega servers, this isn't really it, because there is quite a lot of changes from the official servers, but as far as I'm aware, it is the only choice, so it's a fun enough time. And it feels relatively similar. There's just a few changes that do differentiate it. You don't like the name of the next room? I'm almost scared to look now. Dugfakis. Dark Falz. Okay. It kind of looks like someone who is really struggling with the name. So right then, Dugfakis. No, that's not right. Dugfakis. No, that's still not right. Dark Falz. There we go. I mean, I kind of feel we have to do Dark Falz. I mean, surely Dark Falz. Although it does say Dark Falz 1. It does say Dark Falz 1, so is that the fish Dark Falz? The really lame one. I mean, I guess there's only one way to find out. Dark Falz is the roll there. Okay. That's less impressive. I'm still down to do it if you want. I mean, they are all Dark Falz. I mean, near enough. I don't know why they called it Dugfakis in PSU. It's so weird. Yeah, I guess we can do fish this time. I like how someone joined the party just as we get to the boss thing, so we just have to wait for them to get in and out. Only have the GameCube PSO, still grinding here and there. Oh, cool. GameCube PSO is awesome. I mean, you can even still play that online as well. You know, there are servers that still support GameCube as well. I'm going to assume that they joined and then saw we were right at the boss and just thought, no, it's fine. Oh, not the back again. Maybe they're having connection problems or something. Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out though, like, regardless of if you played PSU before or not. I think if you've only played the portable games, it might be cool to check this out just to see what the differences are. But it should feel very similar. Okay, I've got to assume that he's having connection problems, so we can just start. Oh, he's back again. So I don't know if he's doing it to troll now. Yeah, we'll just go. Okay, yeah, so it is Fish Dark Falz, unfortunately. Does that have the online content from PSU? It has most of the stuff that was on the Sega servers, yeah. This was such a disappointing boss when it was added in PSU, man. When they said we were getting Dark Falls, and then it was this. I know they got another form later on, but even that was a reskin. Can you please come a bit closer? Fish Molly, Fish Molly. It is Fish Molly. It's such a terrible boss. He is level 250. I like how the particle effects and everything on those light texts are so much that you just can't even see my character when I'm attacking. He doesn't even swim. Yeah, he kind of floats above the surface slightly. Yeah, the portal is closed because we're fighting Falz. I kind of feel that it should prevent people from joining once you get to the boss portal. It seems like a really weird oversight, that, because there's no way for them to help out with the boss fight. Again, I reiterate that this is a terrible boss fight. Yeah, this was the first version of Dark Falls to get added to PSU. It was actually called Dark Falls, and it was this. You never like the fish bosses in these games. They're all terrible. And he's dead. Yeah, they did add another form from later on. It is just they're all there, but Falz, yeah. Anything of interest at all? No? Photon drop? I mean, I'll take it. Is that a boss from PSO updated? So, Dark Falls is in most Phantasy Star games. But, yeah, that was how they implemented it in PSU. Again, there is another form of him that I don't think is in this event. Hands down, worst PSU boss. It's up there, for sure. Well, I'm happy to do that again, because there was a few routes we didn't do, so... Yeah, the thing is, even when they added the second form for him, the second form was essentially a reskin of Duckfacus, so it was more or less the same boss. It had a couple of changes to its moves, I think, but it was basically just a reskin. Wrong door. I do find it odd that when you spawn in the lobby, you spawn in this way, but the event quest is here, as opposed to the doors directly in front of you. It's a choice. Yeah, for some reason it sent me here as well. I have no idea why. That's extremely weird. I didn't even get to pick the quest. You were stuck loading the reward screen. Let's try it again, shall we? Again, I've got the wrong door. I will learn this wonder. Are you guys still stuck in the reward screen, or? You're restarting the game? Okay, fair enough. I guess I can probably just start another run. Then if there's space, you can get in. If not, then I'll just break the party after the next run and we can reset it up again. Actually, yeah, it is broken. Yeah, it is. It says elapsed time, 22 minutes. So yeah, the quest's broken anyway. Oh well. So that works out quite well then. So let's see if this actually works now. So to see if Pika comes back. Yeah, I wonder if there was like an issue with that quest, because obviously there was those guys that were joining and leaving over and over again. So I wonder if there was some kind of issue with the last run. Children's game, by the way. Gonna take a while. Do you want us to just start then, Pika, and then you can rejoin if you want to? If it's full when you get back, then I can just start another run once we finish and invite you back in. Yeah, we can do that. Right, it's actually going to work now. There is that other one as well. That one is 3 to 4 player only. That one is 2 player. I think they're like time attack ones though, which I'm less interested in. The music you've heard in PSP for PSP. Yeah, a lot of the music shared. Right, let's see. What we're playing this time. Actually, I'm going to play that. I remember I had these dual sabers or meat sticks. Yeah, they were reduced in PSU. Yeah, I remember those. So we did, I think, was it 1 last time we did? Or was it, no, we did 2 last time, didn't we? Yeah, so we can try 1 then. May as well try all the different routes and see what they're like. Yeah, there was loads of like comedy weapons in PSU. These guys have Zanba. They do not normally have Zanba, I'm pretty sure. It's a demi cosplayer from Phantasy Star 4. I'm really excited to get to 4. I know you said yesterday, Drac, on the Discord call. I know said I'm getting quite near the end of the first generation on 3, so quite interested to see what I'll have to do. I know you get to make decisions in the game that affect the future generations, but I'm kind of curious to see how it works. Yeah, it's kind of just light effects everywhere. I think we've got a few forces, so... It definitely makes it easier to gear for this quest, at least, with everything being the same element. Yeah, I know they have added a lot more gear to the game from what was actually available in PSU. It's like a sort of tier system they've added in Clementine where you have like regular weapons, then ultimate weapons, and then ultimate plus weapons. So it gives you a lot more reason to kind of grind at a higher level, I guess. Thank you for the poison lily. I really cannot see a thing. Phantasy Star 4 is so good. I think you'll like all the PSO references from it as well. I mean, it's cool being playing through all the classic games and even doing like Phantasy Star 2. You know, picking up things from that, like getting to know finally the origin of where Nier comes from and everything. It's been really cool to see as someone who's played a lot of PSO. So I'm definitely looking forward to 4, but I definitely want to give 3 a fair shot. As I say, we'll complete the first generation and then I'll see how I feel about it, and I'll see what chat's impression of it as well. And if people are enjoying 3, I'm happy to continue it. Yeah, 3's definitely getting more interesting now. I'm going to assume that was like a hidden warp point or something. I do feel on Clementine they've been recycling the same maps a lot recently. We seem to have had these PSP2 maps a lot recently for the events. I think the Easter event used it as well. Slightly different layout at least. I just have to kind of guess where my character is because most of the time I just can't see them. It is kind of ridiculous, the effects on the techniques. At least you don't have the Hellbringers. Yeah, this area in... I think it's in Infinity, isn't it, this area? This area is horrendous. Yeah, with the Bringers, and there's like... I think there's a version of Ill-Girls as well. Like, I think it's like Light Element Ill-Girls. And it's also full of those really annoying lilies as well, that fire laser beams. I remember being a really hard area, actually. Speaking of boomers, there we go. There's some boomers for you. Phantasy Star 3 gets far more hate than it deserves, at least in my opinion. Considering how little time the new team got to work on it, I think the enemy art direction is the weak point. The enemy designs are just kind of weird. I think the biggest issue I've got with the enemies is the fact that there's pretty much no animation. Of like, for the attack animations, it's very minimal what the sprites do. But I do agree that I think the game gets a lot more hate than it deserves. It's definitely not faultless. There are definitely some big issues with the game, but I think considering the dev cycle of it, I think they've done remarkably well. It's just, you notice things as you're going through, you know, you notice areas that have obviously cut corners, I suppose to meet the timelines, I guess. Yeah, good to see you 8-bit as well. Yeah, there's little things like, you know, every time you go in a new town, all the towns basically look the same. They've obviously done that to, you know, save resources. It makes sense. But you do notice it when you're playing through. Yeah, I think one thing I will say about 3 is I think when you first start it, at least, it almost doesn't feel like a Phantasy Star game at all. There's one goofy enemy who's animated just him wagging his finger like Shaq. I have encountered that enemy, yeah, the giants. Yeah, they definitely cut back on the animating the sprites. The game itself seems fine. Again, the walking speed was way too slow, but you know, with the walk speed mod, that helps a lot. That is music. That is not his normal music. Spoiler music. It's alright because it doesn't mean anything to me at the minute. I kind of recognize it though. I think because it's not playing in the context of the game, I'm fine. But yeah, so Dark Falz in PSC, I know I mentioned it earlier, when he gets a second form. It's essentially this boss, but with a few different moves. Oof. Oh no. Just bring back memories from the PSP2 playthrough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no way to dodge or defend it though. At least in PSP2 you can guard or, you know, try and do something. someone got a level 200 bonnet. That's very dramatic. I didn't actually know you got level 200 banners on Clementine. That's kind of cool. So nothing then? Cool. Photon drop. Actually, someone in our party there actually got a banner. Gravity on U Star Plus. First PSU banner on stream. I think Gravity On is the rod the other person's using that looks like Glide Divine. Okay. So, I mean, if you guys are happy just running this for the time being, I'm cool just doing this for now. Seems to pay out pretty well, so... I was meant to start a new party for Pika, actually. Actually, someone just dipped, actually, so... If you're quick picky, you might be able to get in. Yeah, sorry about that. I was meant to break party and then make a new one. Did anybody see the Happy Console Gamer's recent video asking if PSU was the worst Phantasy Star game? Definitely seems to think so. I linked it. I haven't actually watched it myself. It just got recommended on my timeline. But I wouldn't say it's the worst Phantasy Star. And now, of course, I'm thinking, what is? It depends what he was reviewing, because I suppose if he was just reviewing PSU base game, maybe I would agree with him. Because PSU base game, particularly at launch, was very rough. Really not good. It did improve quite a bit, and then the expansion massively improved it. Having said that, I mean, I suppose you could compare it to NGS's launch. I mean, NGS as I'm playing NGS. For me personally, I think that, I know a lot of people won't agree with this as well, but for me personally, I think that PSU base game and NGS sit about even for me. Very different reasons, but yeah, I think for me they're probably both the weakest games so far. I mean, maybe PSP1, but PSP1 did have a really good story, so I think the issue I had with PSP1 is I was already playing PSU at the time, so it just felt kind of like a cut down version of PSU, but the story was kind of enough to redeem it. I mean, if you want to be pedantic, you could say something like PSO2 ES. But again, I've heard that ES has a good story, so I don't know. It's a tough one to answer, really. I mean, gameplay-wise, you could even say PSO version 1, but the rest of the game obviously redeems it, and it was, you know, a groundbreaking game, so it's hard to take that away from it. Protagonist is more interesting. It is. There are some really cruddy Game Gear games. I have not played those, so I can't judge, but I can imagine they're probably quite rough on Game Gear. Yeah, I think PSP for what it was, I think was fine. I kind of see PSP as like an experiment to see what they could do on the PSP, you know, just to confuse matters. Obviously, PSP 2 was a massive step forward from that. Yeah, I think PSU when it launched was definitely one of the weakest games for sure. Is this a remix of Temple's theme, or is it actually just PSO 1 Temple? So this is the music from PSO Temple. As far as I know, I think they just use like the battle theme for it because, as you probably know, PSO has dynamic music. I'm pretty sure that this is the music that plays when you're in combat in Temple. But it itself is a remix of the Phantasy Star 1 dungeon theme, so... Yeah, it is the battle version. The sort of exploration one is a lot more laid back. Also, it's kind of funny, when I used to play PSO, like back on the Sega servers, I honestly never really liked the Temple music that much. It was never one of my favourite areas in general, but I'm not gonna say I hated the music, because I didn't, but it was never one of the ones that kind of stuck in my head much. But then I think since I've played the game more, and since I've played the classic Phantasy Star as well, I now have a lot more respect for it. I do like it a lot more now. What did PSU launch with? Oof, now you're asking. So yeah, it was like episode 1 story, which was like the offline story with Ethan. You had the offline extra mode where you made your own character, which was a very cut down version of the online. I genuinely can't remember what the online portion actually launched with. I know it definitely had Param, New Days, and Motube, but I think it was like limited lobbies on each one. It has been a long time since I played the Sega servers though, so... The issue, and I've said this before, but the issue is that when PSU launched, a lot of people just wanted more PSO. Because they love PSO, and they just wanted more of it. I kind of feel that it almost didn't matter what Sega did at that point. I think people were always gonna, you know, dislike what they released because if it wasn't PSO, they almost weren't interested. I do wonder actually, when PSO 1 launched, like version 1, I do wonder, was it like the same kind of reception to that from classic Phantasy Star fans? You know, were they annoyed that it moved to like an online looter rather than a classic JRPG? Hi Zil, join the Yellow Bows Club. Oh, nice one. I'm sure Vector will be happy about that. PSO 1 was too good for its own good. Yeah, I just feel that when PSU launched, I literally don't think Sega could have done anything to please people. I think it was always going to get judged against PSO. Again, not helped by the fact that PSO BB was still online as well when PSU released. So they could directly compare one to the other. Still have the OG Game Gear games as well as English versions, but I haven't finished either. Do intend to finish both. Yeah, I've said that once I finish all the classic Phantasy Star games, I do kind of want to take a look at some of the more like niche games, like the text adventures and so on. There's also things like, is it Phantasy Star Gaiden and Phantasy Star Adventure, I think? Probably need to look into those at some point as well. But I'll save those for after I've done the classic JRPG quadrilogy. Because that in itself is going to take long enough. I've got all the text adventures as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, there is. I mean, there is a lot of games in the franchise, really. Yeah, I think obviously in the West as well, we didn't get a lot of them, so thankfully there are people who are there, you know, out translating everything. Which, on the subject of that, if you're into classic Phantasy Star, you probably know of a site called Phantasy Star Cave. They've just recently announced that they have completed a retranslation patch for Phantasy Star Generation 1, which was like the PS2 remake of the original Phantasy Star. So go and check their website out if you want to check that out. Full English retranslation for it apparently, so again, might have to check that out at some point. Oh, Gaiden and Adventure are the Game Gear games, okay. I wasn't sure what they'd released on. I know very little about those, honestly. Yeah, I love Phantasy Star Cave. I use it quite extensively, particularly for the classic games, for the mainly for the maps and dungeon layouts and everything. Just a really helpful website. Yeah, there was a mobile one called Idler. Yep. Idler, as far as I'm aware, there is no way to play it anymore. I think end of service, I think, so. Again, I heard that the story for that was actually quite good, but I never got to try that myself at all. So that's the one that got away, I guess. I totally forgot that this phase existed. I don't remember this fight at all. One thing I've heard about it is that it's more medieval fantasy than sci-fi fantasy. It was only released in Japan. Yeah, sounds about right. I'm just like stuck in his shield there. That's cool. And he's dead. He is very ripped. Yeah, I know it said Mother Brain copy, but Mother Brain was added in the expansion. So Mother Brain is technically a copy of this guy in PSU. But yeah, again, they like to sort of reuse the bosses a lot. Once again, absolutely nothing of interest. Cool. I think I've used all of my Phantasy Star lookup on 0 yesterday. I'm just never getting anything now. Are you on at the minute, Pika? Or because I've got space at the minute if you want to invite, but if not, we'll just get started. They do reuse a lot of stuff, yeah. Broke a 45% cursed Dark Floor just before. Gamers give you a 48% to break as well. There we go. Haven't made it to the ruins type area in PSU. Surprised it has the same visual style as PSO1. Yes, I mean the ruins from PSO are literally in the game as well as like a rare area. I really don't mind which one we go, so let's go what, 3? Sure. But yeah, that area that we were in, McClintree, that is the PSU version of Rycross. I won't go into how it comes into the story, but yeah. Yeah, so it kind of feels like, although it's split into a few areas, it seems like you always start in the train, then you always go to the PSP2 Infinity area. But maybe get different enemies on each route by the looks of things. I guess that's good because it lets you choose a route to farm, I suppose. Feels like a fairly quick quest to do actually as well. Quite often the event quests on Clem are quite long, but this one isn't too bad, honestly. I did mention in the community post, but PSO is kind of, it's a little bit slow at the minute because, well, one, it's just rare enemy week at the minute, so there's not a whole lot to hunt unless you're after rare enemy stuff. But also, I think a lot of people now with PSO are kind of just waiting for the anniversary. By a lot of people, I mean me. So anniversary should be around August, I believe. I think the plan is probably, once the anniversary starts, I'll probably do PSO every weekend while the anniversary's on, same as last year. Because people will want to spam like crazy on PSO for those few weeks. Again, people meaning me. So we'll do a fair bit of PSO then. So maybe up until August, we'll try and bounce around the Phantasy Stars a bit more. We'll still do some PSO, but we'll try and mix it up a bit more. So we'll do 0 next week. forest grind. Yeah, it will be interesting actually to see what they decide to do with the anniversary this year. Because obviously last year they changed things around so that the least ran quest was the one that dictated the points. Everyone just ran forest anyway, so it didn't work. I personally think that during the anniversary, I think that the different quests should have different weightings on the points. So maybe make it so forest gives 1 point, and then a longer one, like say ruins or something, gives 2 or 3. To try and balance it out a bit more. But I don't know what they can do really to help balance it, because the problem is that the forest quest is too good. It's too easy to spam through for easy points, and it's also really good for hunting things as well. I mean, you're always going to have some people who spam it anyway, because, you know, obviously blue full players are going to run it a lot for Hildertors, for Heaven Punisher. Just burn the forest. They've already done that once in the side stories. Make it so it doesn't get boosted if it's on top. Yeah, I suppose the issue is people are still going to do it though. And we saw last year that even though it was negatively impacting the progress, you know, it was negatively impacting the progress on the unlocks, because Forest was so far ahead, but people just weren't running the other quests. But people just didn't seem to pay attention to it and just kept running Forest anyway. But they still got the boosts. Also, do you mean actually like disable the rare drop boosts and everything? If it's the top rank quest. That could be interesting. I think people will complain about it because... And I get it, because I suppose if you're playing during anniversary and your main goal is to find a Heaven Punisher, and you've got a blue full, you're probably going to be a bit annoyed if your forest quest all of a sudden gets the drops nuked. But yeah, it's hard to think how you could balance it to stop people from spamming one quest so much. The other option is to like physically limit what you can run each week, but that kind of ruins the anniversary for hunting things, really. So I don't know, it's difficult. The first PVD game, player versus developer. But yeah, as much as I'd like to think that people won't run Forest, they will. The only other option, I guess, is to rebalance the Forest quest. Actually change the spawns in it, but again, you don't want to, you know, ruin it too much, because then people will just pick another quest to run. Last time couldn't run anything else but Forest when playing solo because I wasn't strong enough. I suppose that's the issue as well, isn't it? Because if you've just got to Ultimate, you're probably not going to be strong enough to run a lot of the other quests, so you're going to run a lot of Forest. Especially if people are doing a lot of Forest runs, it makes it easy to join them. Just add Barons as... It was on the anniversary patch that they nerfed Greenhill. They might change the IDs again, possibly. 20 Barons in the final wave. Yeah, I'm sure they'll have ideas about how to fix the problem, but I mean, I still really enjoyed the anniversary last year. It was just a little bit frustrating that we didn't unlock all the boosts because people wouldn't stop spamming one quest. I wonder if we can break 600 players this time. I think it was like high 500s last time, I think, wasn't it? I think there should be a harsh penalty if a quest goes above X points above the second place. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I get why people run Forest, because it was by far the easiest way to just spam quest points. The thing is, you can go too far the other way as well. You know, if you make Forest just not worth running, then no one's going to run it. And then people will just pick another quest to run instead. So it's a really difficult balance, honestly. Caves is the new Forest. I mean, to be fair, I'll probably be in Caves a fair bit during Anniversary because I really want another Psycho Wand. And a Lavis Cannon. And I need something to hunt when I'm not spamming for Seal J Sword. Yeah, I mean, that's what they want, isn't it? They want players to kind of go backwards and forwards between the different quests. I don't know why my character's stuck in a walk animation. Where are we going? Yeah, we can go 2 if you want. People really seem to want to do Duck Fakis 1 again. I mean, we can do 1 if you want to. Sure. I mean, I like a bit of changing round. We'll get there eventually. There we are. Can't give us choice. The Sega employee who wrote Dark Falz must be able to sleep easy at night, knowing they made one of the most broken villains in all of media. I know who's not sleeping well at night though. Alice and Rolf. Because they just have nightmares about Falz. That attack's really annoying because all it does is just push you back. It does do damage as well, but it just makes me have to run back up to you. Speaking of Alice as well, apparently it's Alice Landale's birthday today, so happy birthday, Alice. I think that's why they chose today to launch the retranslation of Phantasy Star Generation 1. Well, that was anticlimactic. Yeah, these drops are kind of garbage. I'll always think that the squished item drop models are strange. Yeah, it was. I guess we were just trying to go for like a different aesthetic for this, I suppose. So people seem quite keen on running this, so I don't mind doing this. Like I said, the other quest apparently is just like a time attack one, which I am far less interested in. I'm generally not a big fan of time attack, so... So we can do 202. That Corona time attack you tried a bit in PSO, the one is brutal. It really is. I don't know what gear you're expected to have to get anywhere in that, genuinely. I think it would be a case if you're off level 200 or with absolute meta gear with 100% on it. It felt pretty much impossible with the gear I had, so... While it's cool to see Affinia get new quests, I just don't think there's going to be a massive audience for them. I mean, you say Hell Weapons. I mean, Hell Weapons will maybe work in the Ep 2 quests, if there's an Ep 2 one. A lot of stuff in Episode 1 is really resistant to Hell. Yeah, it would be really, really difficult though to get anywhere. I mean, I think we managed to get to the second room in Forest. Again, I imagine there are some people who have managed to beat it, but yeah, I don't know what kind of gear they expect you to have. What do you get from the quest that would make it even remotely worth it? I don't even know if there is any unique stuff from it. I get the impression it's just more for like bragging rights, like, hey, I was able to beat it. Everyone needs a max hit Baron's launcher. I think someone said, I can't remember if it was Drac. Someone said that Ziggy tried doing it and had a 50 hit Baron's launcher, which is the highest you can get on an enemy power weapon. And apparently Ziggy didn't get much further than we did, so... I genuinely think it's one of those quests where you need to have gear that was all Photon sphered. Yeah, Baron's launcher is really good. I do need to add hit to mine at some point, because I've got one, but I haven't added any hit percentage to it yet. But the issue is that I'm kind of need the Photon crystals for trying to get last one. I kind of think I should just trade for last one, honestly. Because I've done the quest a few times and just had no luck whatsoever. Had a few other good things from it, you know, I got a Centurion ability from it and a Smart Link, but yeah, I think it's like a 1 in 9 chance or something to get last one. I mainly want it for my Huka Seal because my Huka Seal feels super weak at the minute and just really struggling to solo. The problem is I want to run Auron Mines with her. And using mech guns in mines, although it is really good for the gill chicks, at low level, if you don't kill them, they just wreck you really easily. Because of the long hang after the animation for mech guns. You kind of get stuck in the firing animation for a long time. So having last one might help that, because that's just a handgun that shoots like a mech gun. So maybe a bit safer for her to use. Yeah, I've been struggling a bit with the Hue Seal though. I do have one on GameCube as well, about level 130, but yeah, I just find it quite a difficult class to solo with. Yeah, mech guns are probably the worst weapon, I think, for recovery animation. They're really bad. Obviously, they're incredibly overpowered as well, but yeah, the recovery animation at the end is really long, even with Heavenly Battle. When I was deciding which ID to go with Fuxil, I ruled out Oran straight away. I think the problem I have is, when I used to play on the Sega servers, I basically used to do it where I would choose an ID based on the items I wanted for that character. So I would make, you know, Skyly Hunters, I would make Oran Hunters. Because, you know, they find hunter weapons. But in reality, what you really want to be doing is making IDs that hunt stuff easily. So, I mean, for example, Seal J Sword, perfect example. Obviously, I use a Skyly Hunewell for it. Realistically, you probably want to use a Ranger. Because, you know, Tower is much easier as a Ranger. So I checked. Idler did get a Western release on September the 16th, 2020 for USA, and October the 30th for EU. The servers closed on August 22nd. August 22nd, or August 2022. I know it didn't last very long, did it? So, yeah, 2022 might be right. Yeah, I never tried it because obviously I heard it was a gacha game, which didn't really interest me much. But yeah, I kind of wish I tried it for the story. Never once saw it advertised here, only heard about it when it was shutting down, and even then I had no idea it got a Western release. Good job, Sega. I'm honestly surprised it even got a Western release. But yeah, the ID system in PSO, it is weird. Like, you basically want to pick IDs that make it easy to hunt things you want to hunt. So again, you know, Purple Num is quite often considered to be like a Ranger ID, but again, Purple Num, if you're hunting the Millilies, I would say Force is maybe the best option for it. Particularly if you're doing single player anyway. Single player to hunt the lilies is really easy with a Force. You just run into the room and just Razonde spam. And you can just clear rooms instantly. It's funny you mention Idler a bit, because so even in NGS we recently, not so long back, got an Idler scratch with like outfits from the game and everything, but the game was already down by that point, so it's very weird. Yeah, Ep 4 is pretty good for Purple Gnome. I was running Purple Gnome Ep 4 a bit earlier actually, trying a V801. Could not get a Pazuzu to show. Of course, I got a Del Rappy, because you always get the rare enemy not hunting. Yeah, no luck whatsoever with Pazuzu. Honestly, it would be quite nice to change my Hikaseal's ID, but I don't think I can, because I'm sure I made her as Yellow Balls and then changed it to Oran. So I think she's stuck as Oran. Purple was your first section ID. Bit of trivia, it was my first section ID as well. My very first character on PSO GameCube, which was the first PSO I played, was Purple Nun. I know you would think it would be Skyly, but no. Why is my character doing this weird walk? I'm not sure what's going on there. Oh, you've got one of the SectionSkyly dog tags. I've seen those pop up on eBay a little bit now and again. I've been keeping an eye out for a Skyly one, but I haven't seen it yet. It's quite a weird bit of merch, really, isn't it? To have just a random dog tag. This music is great. I'm going to assume this is from Phantasy Star 4. I've got a fairly good idea what it's from as well. Don't spoil it in chat though. I like just the smiley face. It's kind of funny because obviously I want to finish 3 first. But I'm genuinely really excited to play 4. Oh no, no again. It's really trying to bring back that PTSD from the PSP2 playthrough. If anyone hasn't seen that playthrough, when I fought this guy in PSP2, he spammed that attack literally about 5 times in a row. Why doesn't that Falz just send 2 meteors at once? Is he stupid? He respects the game, you see. He knows the rules. He knows that he's not allowed to send 2 at once because that would be unfair. Apparently the one in PSP2 didn't get that message. Yeah, they are fairly easy in PSP2. I think the final boss of PSP2 is pretty rough when you first get to it. Even the worst villain in media has standards. You just get 30 chin and then shoot his head with a pistol. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the way that boss works, when it goes upside down, he does basically just present his weak point to you straight away. Good to take a break, thanks to the runs. I know, Drac, thanks for joining. I honestly think PS0's final boss is pretty hard for a DS game. PS0, I think, is genuinely a pretty difficult game. You need to manage storage and get food. No, no worries. Yeah, Zero is genuinely one of the harder games. Ask Jack how he feels about the drill boss. I don't know which one. We can do one if you want. Yeah, all the bosses in Zero are really annoying. I think it's probably one of the only Phantasy Star games that I can think of where the dragon is actually difficult. It's fine now that you're over level 90. To be fair, when we were duo in Tower, I think you were basically solo and everything. I think I was just there for moral support at that point. Did you see the Photon Blast effects on that run? I mean, I saw you do Photon Blast a few times. I've got to say, I didn't particularly notice the difference, but there was a lot of effects on the screen with all the text going off, so... It was kind of hard to see, honestly. Because there was so much going on the screen. Kind of felt like NGS, honestly. Tower does have a multiplayer mod now, yeah. I meant in Zero. I think I only did a Photon Blast once or twice. Because I know we tried doing it when we played yesterday and we were trying to do that chain achievement for you. I know I accidentally used one once. I didn't notice a difference then. And the second time, I think we got interrupted, so it didn't work. Yeah, that achievement on Zero is going to be really difficult to get. You meant the tower run? I don't think I noticed. Like I said on Discord, I think for most of the run I was kind of just spamming Resta and trying to stay alive. It was the one that stacks affects the more people chain. Yeah, I remember the one that you used, it was like, because it reminded me of the Twins PB from PSO. It was like these two things that appeared. But I didn't really notice what the effect was, I just assumed it was like shifter and D-band, like PSO. With 2 it gives infinite PP for a bit and fast charge time. Oh, nice. Yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, the multiplayer tower mod though, for anyone who hasn't tried it yet, it is really, really easy to set up. I think, from what I remember, I think if you're on Linux, I think there's a few more steps to getting it set up. On Windows, for me, it was really easy. But I would thoroughly recommend that anyone who does it, just make sure you back your save and your ROM beforehand. With 3, you start doing double damage, and with 4, it stacks invulnerability on top of that. Yeah, we need to try and figure out a way of getting you that 50 chain achievement. I genuinely don't know what the best way of doing it is. think the way we were doing it is maybe the best. We just need the, you know, the PB glitch to work properly. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, level 80 SD on PSO is also incredibly busted. And to be fair, even level 30 shifter on D-band is really strong. Yeah, if you think about it in PSO, you know, if you have level 30 D-band and enemies have level 30 gelling on them, most things will do next to nothing to you. Unless they do fixed damage. Imagine infinite TP and invulnerability. Yeah, PSO you can kind of game it a bit, can you, by kind of forcing mag triggers. Or making them much more likely to happen anyway. You know, by deliberately using Berserk and things like that to get your HP low to trigger invulnerability. So you can hit the low health trigger with level 81 SD. Yeah, Berserk. Yeah, that would be the way you do it, really. Berserk is really used for it because obviously Berserk can't actually kill you in PSO. It always leaves you on, I think, minimum of about 3 HP, I think it is. So you just spam Berserk like crazy, get a really low health, and then quite often that will then trigger the mag trigger. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Level 81 shift to D-band, get hit by a Megad anywhere. 802? Level 81 Dark Resist, yeah, if only. It still wouldn't be enough for Merrick rolls. Yes, they do, yeah. It's kind of weird because, I mean, it's not actually... It's technically not Megad they shoot, it's just like a projectile, but it's a projectile with instant kill effects on it, so everyone just calls it Megad anywhere. But yeah, it requires something stupid, like... I think it's over 900 Dark Resist to resist it. Somewhere around there. Amelia joins in chat. Yeah, I have no idea why you need so much Dark Resist to resist that. Surely we can just stack resist slots. I don't know what the highest resist you could get is for Dark. I mean, obviously you'd use Anti-Dark Ring. I suppose it would be like Anti-Dark Ring. Is it Dress Plate on males, I think? That's really good for Dark Resist. So you'd have to use a male character. Dress Plate, Anti-Dark Ring. And then I guess... Would it be 4 Resist Devils to get the highest ADK? Unless any of the... Resist units go higher. I can't remember how high Heavenly Resist is now. But even with that, you're going to be way short. I know you can get high enough to resist the Ilgil Scythe. I think that needs 100. Yeah, more or less no other Megad would be able to touch it, yeah. It's just the Americarol. I'm not sure what dark resist you need for, you know, the mist that they do at close range as well. Because that's instant kill as well. I don't know if it's 900 dark resist for that as well, or if that's lower. Man, I really don't manage. I think everyone's just waiting for me because I'm party leader. I really don't want to do fish falls again. We're doing this guy again. Why not? I've done fish falls once and that was enough. Fish falls works if you have guns. Yeah, I suppose if like a range class is not too bad. I just generally don't like the fight, even when I use guns. I just think it's a really boring fight. At least I didn't use the most important B gem in this one. I mean, obviously, I have done Profound Darkness in PSO2. I know where the first part of the theme comes from. I know it's from Phantasy Star 4. I've got a reasonable idea of what the boss is, but I've never actually seen it though. So, and I don't know how it comes into the game or anything. That was incredibly rude. So we have buff Falz, space Falz, and fish Falz. We do. Someone else has joined on the boss. I mean, you know, technically, the other ones are Dulk Facus. So we could say they're not Dark Falz, but come on. Can we stop doing the same attack over and over again? That would be much appreciated. Thank you. He really does do a lot of damage. There we go. It is odd that they only changed the boss music on that one. They do the bosses seem to use their normal music. I mean, all the Photon drops. It's really good class experience, actually. You did it, you got the one hydrate, fine. It's because Ellie's not here, you see. It's been a year. Yeah, like I say, I know what the problem is with that now, but I'm not fixing it. Yeah, exactly. It was always Elio killing the app would normally get it. I got rare quests, Pika. Do you want the lead then, Pika, if you want to run that? One use per stream, Photon refreshments. Yeah, I should probably add like a hydrate that actually works. I don't mind which one you want to do. Any planet works, really. Yeah, I think Demi was a gun techer, I think. It is the fluid drink animation from PSO2. Alright, which planet are we going to, Pika, for the rare mission? I'll let you choose because it's your rare mission anyway. Let's do ruins. Is that Guardian's Colony? Did it too fast, he has mate lovers. What's the dumb name they gave it on Global? Oh, I can't remember. This event doesn't have boosted drop rates. We get more XP if we have a fourth. Yeah, it's a really good point, actually, isn't it? Yeah. There's like extra doors you can do for 4 players, isn't there? Yeah, it's your quest anyway, Pika. So I mean, if you want to run it with less than 4, that's fine. But if you want to just keep doing the event quest, that's fine as well. If you want to keep hold of that until we got 4, I just don't want you to waste it. That's all. Yeah, I'm happy to just go back to the event if you want. It's like they said, you know, there's a lot of extra doors that unlock if you've got 4 people, so there's a lot more enemies you can get. Where's Kilniath and Vector exactly? Smart man has both the YouTube and Twitch stream open so that when Twitch gives me ad, I can mute Twitch and switch to YouTube to hear everything. Yeah, also I've changed how the ads work on Twitch. So I think it used to be you used to get a 1-minute ad every 20 minutes, I think it was. I've changed it so it's now a 3-minute ad every hour. So hopefully it should be less, less intrusive. When the world needed him most, he left. Harry Potter. That was your first ad of the day. Oh, cool. I know 3 minutes of ads sucks, but the way Twitch works, if you do a 3-minute ad, then it prevents ads from starting again for another hour. We could go. Do you want to do one? We'll probably get more people to join anyway, because people seem to jump in the ultimate runs quite quick. Ask Demi if he should play Phantasy Star 3 all the way to the end or go to 4 right away. Totally not biased answer. I might say for 3, I'm not hating the game, so I think with the move speed patch it has helped a lot. So I'm definitely going to play through the first gen. If people want to see more of it, I am happy to do more of it. I almost feel like I'm doing it a disservice if I don't play the whole thing through, but surely the answer is finish 3. These guys have so much HP. Yeah, they're level 200, these. Good to see you as well, Draft here. I'm not really bothered about doing all the options for the endings, because I know there is like branching paths at the end that influence the... Well, branching paths that influence the generations. Where you might need more than one save slot. I know I've heard that. The issue is the thing I'm using to run it. I can't have multiple save slots, so that is an issue. And I have tried transferring my save file to another emulator, and it didn't seem to work. There are some cool references to 3 in 4 for what it's worth. Okay. I mean, I'll play around with that and see if I can get it working. If I can, then I'm happy to do multiple, just to see the different endings, but I think for my first time through, I think I am also happy to just play through, see what endings I get, and then I could always just like look up the other endings if I want to. I think there's a reference to 3, and it's in the first optional dungeon for 4. Okay. I know when we were talking about 4 before, people said there's a lot of side quests and everything to do in 4 as well, so I do want to kind of give it the benefit of the doubt and play the side quests as well. So I may need people's help in chat when I do 4, just to make sure I don't miss anything important for the side quests. Obviously, I'll be using a walkthrough for it, but most are very easy to do. Okay. You can lose access to some side quests after points in story, but if you check often, it's fine. Honestly, you can maybe go blind for Phantasy Star 4, it's that good. How complicated are the dungeons in 4 compared to the previous games? Are we talking sort of Nightmare Phantasy Star 2 dungeons or Biomalay style? Or is it a bit easier? It's not horrid, okay. Well, I know on one of the Phantasy Star Discords, on the Esper Mansion one, I know they said that when I beat Dark Falz in Phantasy Star 2, they said that was probably the hardest thing I would fight in any of the Phantasy Star games. So whether that's true, I don't know, but 4 is pretty breezy actually. Okay. Some bosses are annoying, okay. I mean, I kind of expect that. The thing is, though, there's a difference between annoying and Phantasy Star Dark Force. Or Phantasy Star 2 Dark Force. That is on like a whole new level. Combat mechanics are so fun. I'm interested to see how it differs, because obviously 1 is very basic, really. I guess the most interesting thing in 1 is the fact that you kind of talk to the enemies as well. I think 2 expanded on that a lot, especially with the items that you could use for different effects. That was really cool. 3 so far seems very basic. I don't know if it changes later, but so far it seems extremely basic. And basically just auto battling for most of the fights in 3. You missed out much in the Dark Falls fight. Sounds like fun. It was everything apart from fun. In 4, you can talk to your party members to remember where to go next, or if you like the extra dialogue. Oh, cool. Dungeons are far more linear than the nightmare mazes found in 2. Yeah, the dungeons in 2 were horrendous. I think without a guide, I would have really struggled with those. Particularly for... what's the dungeon called in 2 with all the... it has basically loads of pitfalls that you can drop down. I think, is it Ikoto, I think it is? That without a guide would have been impossible. It sounds like from what you're saying, Drac, that 4 has a lot more of what I'm kind of used to in RPGs. Honestly, I think the whole thing about interacting with your party members, though, that's really interesting, because that's kind of one thing that I think has been sorely lacking in the game so far. I mean, in 1, you barely ever speak to your other party members at all. In 2, you get like the little bit when you first encounter your party members, and then obviously there's a little bit right at the end, but there's really not a whole lot. In 3, there's been a little bit of dialogue between them, but again, not really that much. I kind of miss that, honestly. Disolus in 2 was a nightmare. I'm pretty sure the stories an intern made all the dungeons and a producer put them in because they felt bad. Yeah, I mean, all of the Disolus dungeons in 2 were horrible, but yeah, Ikoto in particular was horrendous. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously some reason they decided not to do it, but it is a bit of a shame because like some of the characters in 2 are really, really interesting, but you just don't really find out a whole lot about them. But I guess that's why they did the text adventures, I guess, maybe to fill that gap in. Although, am I right in saying that the text adventures are... did they take place before Phantasy Star 2? I just realised we keep going the same way as well. Yeah, I mean, it's cool that it fills in some of the backstory before the game, I guess, but... yeah, I just kind of miss the interaction between the characters. Would have been nice to have. Again, though, maybe... I know there is obviously the remakes of 1 and 2. Maybe 2, the Generation 2, fixes that a bit. But then again, I know it also changes things, so... They're all set before Phantasy Star 2, okay. Yeah, I definitely want to check all those text adventures out. I think probably once we finish Phantasy Star 3 and 4 though. Again, I'm still hoping that Sega decide to do something this year, but I don't know, my hopes are fading somewhat. Should do a race to end the stream. They're focusing on the blue rat. Yeah, there is lots of rumours, McClintry, of PSO remakes. I would take it with a massive grain of salt. Do you want to do fish falls this time? Just to try and vary it up a little bit. Sure. Yeah, they are very busy with Sonic. When are we getting a Phantasy Star live action? I don't know if I want that. I mean, live action is incredibly hit and miss. Yeah, featuring, like, what? Jack Black as Noah. Oh, every single character is Jack Black, what, including Alice? Yeah, did everyone see that they're doing a live action of Elden Ring? I find that very weird. Got to throw Chris Pratt in the air. Chris Pratt and Jack Black. It's not even a live action if Jack Black isn't in it, let's be real. It does kind of feel like he is in everything recently, like literally everything. If it's by the Halo live action guys, then it's going to be crap. I never saw the Halo live action. To be fair, I never played a whole lot of Halo, so I played it a little bit. But I heard it wasn't great. Definitely don't want that. Can't stand Jack Black. Yeah, so. Shield fragment. Not missing anything, okay. Good to know. I played 4. I think I played a bit of the first one and a bit of Halo 2, and that was about it. I didn't have an original. Well, I think. Yeah, I didn't have an original Xbox, so all my experience of the original Halo was on a friend's Xbox. Is there a goal in the event? I mean, it's tracking how many enemies I've defeated. So maybe there's a leaderboard for it to unlock things. I honestly haven't looked. I mean, normally max attack events, they do have like a goal to work towards. If you meet the goal, the new player experience gets released. I want to believe. Yeah, I don't think this event's too bad though. I think the quest's fairly interesting at least. It seems like it has some decent drops, so. Alright, what are we playing this time? Actually, no, that's horrible. I forgot how bad that song is. Do you know what? We're not monetizing on YouTube anywhere. Did you see the recent PSO2 video they put out with the progress? I did, yeah. Obviously, I don't tend to cover that on the channel because, you know, Sega server is available, is all I'll say. But yeah, I have seen it. No, I think it's cool they're working on it, but yeah, I think at the minute, you know, there is still a way to play legit. I know it's not the best experience because the server is essentially abandoned, but I mean, there's still plenty of people that play it, but obviously it's not getting any new updates or anything. Burning Ranges cover one. Don't really give PSU enough credit for looking nice. I think it's a reasonably good looking game for the age. I mean, you know, bear in mind, when this game launched, I'm trying what year it was now. Was it about? I think it was quite late in the PS2's lifespan, so I want to say, was it about 06? Maybe around there? Or Steel Hearts U Plus. Oh, cool. That's Nagisa's sword. But yeah, I think PSU looks pretty good for the age, really. I mean, you can tell it's an old game now, but I think it looks fine, really. I think back in the day, I think a lot of people bounced off the style because I guess like, PSO is very, like, has a very noticeable art style to it. It is almost a bit like kind of like a manga / anime art style if you look at like the character designs of PSO. But in PSU, they've definitely moved away from that. So I get why some people wouldn't have liked it, but I think it looks fine. I spent $5 to create a new character just to start PSO2 from the start again, and I think it's just too hard to understand without a guide now that the whole game is just available. It's one of the things I want to try to solve in my personal project. Yeah, I mean, I would agree that PSO2, if you're coming into it for the first time and you're starting to play it now, it is a lot to take in. Yeah, I think the tutorialization is not brilliant in PSO2, and there's just so many different systems in the game that it can be really confusing. For me, I think because I played so much back in the day, I'm familiar with a lot of the systems in it. But even for me, like some of the later stuff, like the S abilities on gear, that kind of goes over my head a bit. It does get very confusing. I suppose if you research it enough, you can, understand it all. Really like the PSU art style, always worked for me. Also, PSU was 2006, okay. The main character is level 80 something, but I don't remember anything about it because most of it was free experience. Yeah, I mean, PSO2 does like to give out experience quite often. And there are several ways of getting experience really quickly. That's the same in NGS as well, honestly. I mean, with NGS now, if you've leveled one character previously and you've got to the current area of story, you can literally start from the current chapter of story and start your character at level 85. So I made a new character recently in NGS, and I just started it at level 85. You like Dark Falz Double, the Scary Castle thing? Yeah, it's a really interesting looking boss, that, and the fight was quite fun, honestly. I've always said it, but I think PSO2, and honestly NGS as well, I will give credit to NGS for this as well. Some of the big boss fights in those games are really good. I know NGS has a lot less of them, but I feel for the most part that the Dark Falz fights in NGS are really decent. But yeah, the PSO2 ones are really good as well. Yeah, honestly, Draft I really appreciated it because I really did not want to have to go through tons of story and level from one again. I just wanted to get a new character leveled up. You like Dalian's fight a lot yet? Dalian, particularly Malignant Dalian, is really fun. If you like Dalian as well, once the event ends, try doing the 4-player one if you haven't already, if you can get a party for it. Because the 4-player one, he hits a lot harder, and there's a tighter time limit and a 5 death limit as well. So it does make it a lot more challenging. But yeah, really fun fight. For all its flaws, I think NGS did do a pretty good job with the big boss fights. Yeah, if you go to base game though, I mean, a lot of the Dark Falz fights in base game are really fun. I still think Loser is probably one of my favourite fights in the franchise. Like, as a whole. Also, Dark Falz Persona as well. Really enjoyed that fight. Can I just say, I will never get tired of Burning Rangers. I must have heard this song thousands of times now with the amount I played it in PSO as well, with music discs. I just don't get bored of it. Yeah, I think I have quite liked the festival in NGS at the minute because one of the best things about it has been that they've bumped all the Malignant bosses up to level 100, so it made them a bit more challenging. It's actually been quite funny seeing people get killed by Dalian. I was in a party a few days ago, and I think the majority of the party maybe hadn't done Dalian before. And it was a massacre. I've never seen people die so much on it. Yeah, it's a very groovy song, isn't it? The wall attack and the cannon phase still gets me, it's pretty tight. Yeah, it's not bad when it only does one wall, but once you get it to a bit further through the phase and it starts to do 3 walls, you have to be more or less perfect timing for the jumps. And you basically need to make sure you do the right jump as well. So if it's a low wall, make sure you single jump it. If it's a high wall, make sure you double jump. But yeah, your timing needs to be bang on, more or less. It does a lot of damage as well, so if you do mess up. The issue as well is that if you get hit by one of the first ones... Shoot, we can do phase 1 if you want. Yeah, the issue is if you get hit by one of the first walls, it kind of flinches you a bit as well, so you tend to then just get hit by the second one, and that usually kills you. So yeah, it is nasty. Finally, that trainee blowing comes in handy. I do like on Malignant Dalian as well that they actually added like a new phase to the fight as well. So the part where all the turrets surround the arena and you have to like shoot specific turrets in a certain order. Yeah, that was brand new on Malignant Dalian, so it's cool that they add more to the fight as well. Yeah, the wall attack is really unforgiving. It's like the Soulless wall, but way worse. Because at least with Soulless, you had a little bit of time to kind of pop a rest aside and then jump through the second wall. With Dalian, it's really tight. He's about a laser beam, so I'm just going to ignore that completely, if you don't mind. Yeah, I do wish though, as nice as it's been having the level 100 Malignant bosses, I do wish that it was a permanent thing. Because now, after the event ends, the 4-player one is probably going to go back to whatever level it was. I think was it about level 90 or 95 or so. It'd be nice if they just leave it at 100. I guess it'd make it very hard to solo though, maybe. Yeah, someone got 3 seals, yeah. Not me. Again, a lot of the gear that's in Clementine wasn't in PSU originally. Like, I'm pretty sure 3 seals was never in PSU. So a lot of things have been added to Clementine, but it's pretty cool though. I mean, like my armor, for example. I have D parts, which for some reason everyone can use in this. And, Virus Armor Lafeteria. Again, I don't think these were in PSU originally. Does 3 seals look the same in PSO? I'm not sure, honestly. I've never actually seen it in PSU. In PSO, it's that like weird round shield with like 3 seals, unsurprisingly. It's like 3... I like different coloured, like, circular seals that are on it. Yeah, they reused a lot of stuff. We can do a little bit more. Here's a very divisive question. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's got the monument symbols on it, yeah. Exactly, so the 3 seals that you break. Do you like RPGs that let you switch character classes freely on the same character, or RPGs that force you to one character per class? just does League now, I guess. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not sure, honestly, McClintry. I mean, it's nice having the freedom to be able to change. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, for example, in NGS, for example, I know you're talking more like JRPGs in general, but if I'm playing something like NGS, I like the ability to just switch up my character class on the fly if I need to. I think, especially with games like NGS as well, having the ability to use multiple classes on one character is really good because, you know, obviously once you get to a certain amount of characters on PSO2 and NGS, you have to start paying for the slots. So it's nice to be able to have the freedom to change so that if you want to play entirely free to play, you can. Yeah, having said that though, I do get that for things like classic RPGs, it is nice sometimes to have specific roles for each character because, you know, take something like Phantasy Star 2, for example. You know, obviously you've got characters like Shia, who their main thing is that they're a thief. So it's nice knowing that if you want to use a thief character, you've got a specific character for that. And you know, you might really like some of the characters as well. And for example, if you really like Shia, then you've got that character there to use. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there is advantages and disadvantages to both. I think maybe for online RPGs, maybe it's nicer to be able to switch. Or for maybe classic JRPGs, maybe they fit better with like fixed character classes. I think either can work though, honestly. Even in Bravely Default, you can freely switch jobs. I've never played Bravely Default. I remember hearing a lot of people say at the time that it was really good, but I never actually tried that myself. Again, I know it might be a bit of a surprise, but I'm generally not like a massive JRPG fan. I've played some. But I'm certainly not someone who plays a whole lot of them. Individual character classes can let you make unique things like character-specific drops and stats if you consider that a good thing. That's the thing, I mean, it can be a good thing or bad depending on how you look at it. Because it can also be too restrictive sometimes, so... The thing is as well, even if you give people the freedom to change character classes on the fly, it doesn't always mean that it's something you can do. You know, PSU is actually a perfect example of that, because in PSU, can you make a cast into a force? Yes, you can. Are they good at doing it? Not really. They can do it, but they are by far the worst race at doing it. In the same way that if you make a Newman, can you make them a hunter in PSU? Yeah, but you're going to be doing the worst damage. So although PSU does give you the freedom to do that, you will be still restricted if you don't choose like an optimal pairing. At least back on the official servers anyway. I don't know if it's a case on Clementine necessarily, but... It looks like Draken's back. I like that he's using a Heart of Poom. Or a singular one anyway. So yeah, I definitely do think there are advantages and disadvantages to both ways of doing it. I guess in older JRPGs, it was probably just easy to have, you know, each character be designed for a specific role. Because then, you know, from that, then you can work out the stat growth per level. You know, if you've got someone like a mage type character, you're going to want them to be able to do damage with text or spells, you know? So because of that, you would want their stat growth to be based around that. And so I guess it was easier for older games to just pick one specific archetype for each character. It's kind of funny, a banner for Yatamura. It's really funny because if I got that in PSO, I just wouldn't care. Like, it's a cool shield, but it's like not banner worthy. I'm guessing it must be pretty good in this. Yeah, so maybe it's just done for like simplicity with the older games, so they don't have to like do a different like stat growth and everything for each individual class. It's definitely an interesting thing to think about, though. We are playing some PSU, Rukunetsu, yeah. Good to see you as well. Yeah, there's a new event on Clementine, so I thought we'd check it out. And I think next Sunday we're going to do some Phantasy Star Zero. Also, after you were here last time, I checked out your YouTube channel, by the way. I love the like the PSO forest cover you did. No, it was really cool, actually. I mean, you don't tend to get that many PSO remixes of PSO music, really, so it was really cool to see. Did you make that quite a while ago, or is it more recent? Got a few more planned, trust me. Oh, cool. I'll definitely check them out when you release them. A few years ago, oh, cool. Yeah, I always love people seeing, you know, doing content for Phantasy Star in general, you know, whether it's gameplay stuff or whether it's, you know, like yourself with the music. I think there is still definitely a lot of love for this franchise. Oh yeah, definitely Draffy, yeah, you know, considering how good the music is, some great material to work with. Love PSO, especially the music. I'm always going back to it. Yeah, I literally cannot stop playing PSO. I think for me, even if the worst happened and if is shut down for some reason, I'd probably start playing my GameCube PSO again. I don't know what it is about PSO, but that gaming just specifically, I just cannot stop playing it. Even if I take breaks from it, I'll come back to it again, like every single time. I think the longest I've ever not played PSO for is maybe just when it gets the hooks in, you know, it just doesn't let go. No need to think about it, it's just something you wholly enjoy. It's amazing to say the least. Yeah, and I think the music does go a long way towards that. Yeah, there is a very good reason why, you know when you get your Spotify thing at the end of the year and it tells you what you've listened to the most. Yeah, it was Sega Sound Team for me. Probably surprising no one. I think it's always been a really strong part of the franchise, though. Like, I genuinely, can't think of a Phantasy Star game with bad music. I know we laugh about Phantasy Star 3 with the battle music, but outside of that, 3 still has some really good music. It's just that one specific track that sucks. I also realised that I'm doing this literally playing the PSO CCA music in the background. I still think this is one of my favourite PSO tracks for sure. It's not Spider-Man Pizza Clown music level bad. I mean, there was a track in Phantasy Star 1 that was very sort of pizza music. Yeah, I've always loved the central control music. We can do Facus 1 if you want to. I know there's only 4 of us, so maybe it's better to do this one. Yeah, I think the central control music is probably one of my favourite tracks from the game, just because I've said this before, but I love how it sounds kind of really calming and relaxed, but it's still, there's like this undercurrent under it of like unease that sets the tone for the area perfectly. Hi, Bank. Hope you're doing well. Hope your daughter's birthday thing was alright. PSU is 6-person max. It's one of the very few games that allows you to have more than 4. Well, that's probably not good. So I'll be dying now. If you want real hot trash, look up Burning Men's Souls from Persona Trinity. I'm kind of surprised because I'm not a Persona fan. I've never really played Persona games, but the Persona music I have heard sounds good. So I'm surprised there's some bad music, but I guess every franchise probably has a stinker somewhere. I'm not sure what mana is, but I'll take it. It's a really bad rap song. Okay. I might check that after the stream. Like comically bad. So I think I've probably got time for maybe one more run. Yeah, I think you're always going to have that one somewhere. Oh, it's done this again. Have you got stuck in the reward room again? Maybe this event is just cursed for your Drac. Yeah, I think we must have the bug again. It's just for some reason the quest just doesn't end. And I can't actually end the quest, but you can see it's still going. It's still showing like 12.5 minutes. Don't forget to spend AP and do a board race. Alright, we'll see if anyone joins that. Didn't play nearly enough of this game. Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, this server does improve a lot of things with it. There's some things I'm not a huge fan of with what they've done, but it's the only way to play PSU. And I think if you didn't play much of it back in the day, it's probably still worth checking out. I'll never like it as much as PSO, admittedly. Yeah, I think this might not be working. I have to start the mission by going through the gate before anyone can join. That's really weird, isn't it, that they don't let you join here? Oh well, fair enough. Yeah, it's really odd that no one can join before you actually start the quest. I guess the exit starts there. That's really weird. Oh well, time to get destroyed. Oh, Demi straight in. Yeah, I was sort of putting 2 and 2 together there. I was like, okay, I've got Demi in the run and then Ren in chat. I was like, okay. Let's see what's happening now. Well, those enemies nearly sent me back to the lobby. Plot twist. I find it weird that so all the enemies in this are dark. So these all Gormons are dark element, but they still do barter. I'm surprised they just didn't give them Megid, honestly. Yeah, so we'll do this last run and then we'll see what the time's like, and then if we've got time for a run, we'll do one. You know, for a race. But yeah, I assume that's probably just like a limitation of the game, I guess, that the quest doesn't start until you actually go through the gate. This is Space Station music. Yeah, this is Trick Track from PSO, from VR Spaceship. There's loads of different music you can choose from in this. You can basically set what music you want at the start. There's a few PSO songs you can choose from, so I think there's this, there's the Temple music, and CCA. I find it funny sometimes in this, because the enemies are kind of sped up in Ultimate, some of them look ridiculous when they're moving fast. Like the cast with the sabers. They look absolutely ridiculous when they're sidestepping because it's way too fast. Trick Track is top 3 for you. It's up there for sure. Like I say, I think the CCA music is probably my favourite in PSR overall. Also, I love Gal Griffin's theme. What else do I love? Obviously the shop music on Pioneer 2, you know, Chaotic Bar, that is really, really good. Alright, Drac is back again. Between Well With Me, Trick Track, and Episode 3's hub music. Yeah, the hub music, so the one that plays in the lobby. Actually, by hub music, do you mean the one that plays in the online lobbies, or the one that plays in the morgue, or you know, the card lab? Oh, the morgue one, okay. Yeah, I mean, again, PSO Episode 3 has a really good soundtrack. I think in Ep 3, my favourite song is probably Tower of Calum. Also, that should have been in music you could pick for this quest. They should have added that. Yeah, Ep 3's music is amazing. I think there's a couple of tracks in Ep 3 where I think they're not as good as Ep 1 and 2. So there's areas like Forest and Mountain that are in Ep 3, and I think the Episode 3 version of the CCA music I'm not as big a fan of. I still like it, but not as much as the Ep 1 and 2 music. But yeah, Episode 3 as a whole, the soundtrack is really, really good. Well, I've got it in my cabinet behind me, so... It's a bit overlooked, yeah. I do wonder if maybe the reason for that is because the game itself was overlooked as well. You know, I imagine a lot of people just didn't play Episode 3, so they probably just didn't hear the soundtrack. Oh, you've ordered a physical copy as well? Yeah, that's what I've got, yeah. It's like a double CD. Yeah, I think a lot of it is probably just because the game wasn't as popular as Episode 1 and 2. And I think a lot of people were just inherently put off by the card game mechanics, even if they didn't try it. Maybe that's the reason why the soundtrack isn't as popular, because they just haven't heard it. It was also GameCube only as well, yeah, so that probably didn't help. Again, very weird decision. I'm assuming Nintendo maybe had something to do with that, because it seems odd that you would have Episode 1 and 2 on GameCube and Xbox, and then have Episode 3 only on GameCube. Although having said that, Episode 1 and 2 Plus, was that GameCube only as well? I know next to nothing about Plus because it wasn't released in Europe. But was Plus GameCube only as well? Had a GameCube, never saw any version of PSO on sale. Yeah, I just stumbled across it in a shop one day. I've said this before, but yeah, the way I got into PSO basically was I had a friend who... I think I've said this before, but for anyone who might not have heard. I had a friend who had a GameCube, and at the time I was like a huge Final Fantasy VIII fan. And he phoned me up one night and just said, oh, you've got to come over, I've got a game that's way better than Final Fantasy VIII. So I went over, and when I got there, he was playing PSO in his living room with a few friends. And I played it, and I quite liked it, but it didn't like really hook me or anything. I thought, yeah, it seems cool, but I don't have a GameCube. It doesn't seem like the kind of game I'd just, you know, go and buy a GameCube for. So of course, the next day I woke up and went and bought a GameCube, not PSO. And then have continually played it for about 20 years. So maybe it was better than FF8. Seems PSO Plus was GameCube exclusive, could be wrong, however. I have a feeling it was. Which again is a very weird thing to do, but very Sega. You played PSO and Dreamcast first, then Xbox made sense as your friends and I all had it. Yeah, I mean, I suppose the Xbox version as well had some extra stuff. I mean, I think, didn't the Xbox version have voice chat as well? Which I can imagine was probably horrendous. Only ever played offline, okay. Favorite OST is PSU. I like most of the lobby and area music, but some of the songs are very cheesy. Soundtrack for PSO is awesome too. Yeah, again, I mean, again, for all the criticism that PSU did get, really strong soundtrack. Yeah, I think the Rafa Meadow and Mizuraki are some of the best music in the game, and I think Mizuraki, honestly, is one of the best songs in Phantasy Star as well. Only played PSU on the Xbox demo. Cap was 50 and A rank was the highest here. Until last year, you got into Clementine. I suppose it would give you a decent idea of what PSU was like. Yeah, but I used to love playing split screen on PSO. It's kind of funny if you think about it now, because I suppose the whole concept of like split screen is probably something that's kind of wasted on a lot of like younger gamers now. I can't think of many games that really do split screen anymore. I would imagine the whole concept would seem quite foreign to a lot of people now. Like, what do you mean? I've got to share half the screen with another person? Or in PSO's case, a quarter of the screen. Wait till you hear some of the chiptunes in Phantasy Star 4. I'm very excited for it. It was very much of its time, yeah. You know, you and 3 friends playing on like a tiny TV, and you've got a quarter of the TV each. You can barely even see your character. Still really fun though. I love split screen. TV that was deeper than it was wide, yeah. Exactly, yeah, we all have the time of our lives. Yeah, I wouldn't have any other way, honestly. You know, that was my experience with PSO growing up, so I'm very glad that's what I was, you know. Discovered PSU by accident. Played the demo for a couple of months before going over to the full game. I mean, I would imagine, obviously there's going to be people who started the franchise with PSU, but I would imagine that quite a lot of PSU's player base at the time was probably people from PSO who moved over because it was the new Phantasy Star. I do wonder how people got into PSU for the first time if they'd never played anything before. Like, I don't really know how Sega's advertisements were there, if the game was heavily advertised or not. I certainly don't remember it. You were glued to WoW and completely missed PSU. Same sort of time frame, wasn't it? So, what happens to that? I mean, WoW's still going, isn't it? So, it's kind of crazy, that, isn't it, when you think about it? That, you know, PSU was around the same time as WoW, and WoW is now still going. Meanwhile, you know, think how many Phantasy Star games there has been between PSU and now. It is insane, really. So a few ads in EGM for PSU, another game in Max. Okay. So maybe they had some budget for advertisement. Does PSO2 count? I mean, I guess so, yeah. Although when you want to count it is another thing altogether. Yeah, the whole PSO2 thing was still wild, really, wasn't it? Right, yeah, let's show it at E3, and then it's just going to disappear for years. Didn't even know what a Phantasy Star was until 2019. Everyone starts somewhere. Love Clementine, but I have too much to do at the minute. It is hard to keep up. I mean, even for me, just making content for the franchise, trying to balance all the games is near impossible. E3 is gone now, yeah. They stopped it, didn't they? I think, honestly, I think the COVID pandemic kind of killed it. Because obviously there was a few years where it couldn't run. Or it was very, very limited. And I think maybe they just realised there's not really much need for it. I think a lot of the hardware manufacturers now anyway just do their own like directs and everything now anyway, so I like how I looked away for literally a second and he died immediately. My brother almost never comments on games, but I vividly remember him saying that the Sega game looked cool. That was right after I started playing through Tweaker. Now, I still remember when PSO2 was announced, you know, when it finally got its Western release date in, what was it, was it E3 2019, I think? Maybe? I still remember the announcement, and it kind of shell-shocked me because I was like, wait, what? Yeah, I've been playing Japanese PSO2 for years at that point, and I was like, no way it's actually coming to the West. Yeah, it completely threw me. I was like, I think my main response was, why now? It was very weird. That song was Laughter from Phantasy Star 4, okay. Because I know obviously Ooze is used in the PSO2 Profound Darkness fight. So I am aware of that song. Better late than never. The one E3 I watched in it was the one that announced PSO2 Global. They were just waiting for you to watch. So did you want to do a race before we end this? Did you really want to do one? Is this just like in style on me? Where do you even do the race from? I can't even remember. Dagora for race, okay, sure. You should have watched E3 years before, yeah. So yeah, the reason we didn't get a PSO2 before 2019 is because Drac hadn't watched E3. Keep getting stream delay. Oh, no worries. Yeah, we'll do this and then we'll end the stream after this. No, E3's not around anymore. No, they cancelled it. Yeah, so I think they were going to do it during... Obviously, it was on 2019 because that's when PSO2 was announced. Was there a 2023? Because obviously I know, obviously COVID, etc. But I can't remember if they still did one in 2020 or if they did one in 2021. I think, did they skip it in 2020 and then do it in 2021, but it was like massively limited and no one could go to it? Yes, it is. It is here. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think they did cancel 2020 because of COVID, and then 2021, I think it was on, but there was no public there. All right, so this is going to be awful. I can't remember the controls. Okay, found forward. Oh, I forgot how bad the controls are. This so bad. Oh, to be fair, probably better controls than the floating boards in NGS. Because my god, they're awful. Discount Sonic Riders. I think Demi's probably just going to lap us. Oh, I'm so bad at this. It's like you see it a tiny bit. In the concentration here. Demi probably professionally speed runs this, maybe. I feel like my board is broken. I can see Demi in the distance slightly. So I guess we both got the wrong one there then. Oh my god, it's so bad. Yeah, just go for the fire, that works. Sure. I don't really know what the green thing does over there. I'm just going to ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. I also like how you get stuck on most of the terrain. I am pressing go. Please go. Oh god, I forgot the bloody Sonic Heroes music, just to make it worse. Yeah, there's a lot of collision detection. Ah, this song, man. My brother had Sonic Heroes on GameCube. I also like how that board just passed me with no one on it. Like I just forgot to load the character. So I'm now racing against a literal ghost. I think my board is actually broken. It's the ghost of Rico. She's just chilling doing like airboard tricks. Now that she's got nothing else to do. Oh yeah, also collision detection with each other as well. So, enjoy that. I like how there's just a board with no one on. That amuses me way more than it should. Well, I finished. I mean, I have no idea what position I came in. This band should make more music for Sonic games. It's probably lagging. It was just really funny seeing just an empty board go past me. So I think I probably did come last. Yeah, Drac won with his ghost board tech. I came second apparently. We've got the same time. I'm pretty sure the Demi crossed before me. So I think Demi got scammed there. Or maybe because it's the same time. I don't know. Yeah, it was really, really funny that just like an empty board flew past me. Well, thank you for the race. Demi most definitely was after you on your screen. Okay. Well, that was very fun. Thank you for the race. So yeah, I think we'll probably end that one there for today, I think. So on Wednesday, I will be doing more Phantasy Star 3. So we're going to go back to that again. Do a bit more Phantasy Star 3. On Sunday, I'm hoping to do Phantasy Star Zero Eternal Tower multiplayer mod. So if anyone wants to see how to install that, it is on our Discord, so feel free to join us over there. Yeah, there is instructions how to install it there. It's very, very easy to do as well. Just be aware that it does replace the first quest in your list, so back up your save before you do it. So yeah, we'll do that on Sunday, and like I say, on Wednesday we'll do some more Phantasy Star 3. As always though, if you enjoyed the stream, please consider liking, subscribing, join us as a member if you want to. You can follow or sub on Twitch or YouTube. You can follow on X or Bluesky, and also, again, the Discord server as well. Be ready for a long tower run. I mean, the stream is going to be 3 hours, but I want to see how high up the tower we can get in 3 hours. I mean, if we get 4 people, we might be able to get reasonably far. So, it should be fun. It's more just to show off, and just to play Zero again as well, because Zero is really fun. Don't think I did that race into the official servers. Yeah, it's really janky, the race in PSU. We can probably beat it with 4 people. Maybe. We'll see. But yeah, we'll end that one there for today. So again, thanks to everyone who joined for PSU today as well. It's really fun. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday for another stream. Again, there'll also be a video on Tuesday as well, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah, enjoy your week, and I'll see you on Wednesday. See you guys.